back to Jimmy.
Remember we covered this? This is the Prime Minister, Robert Fico, or Fico, I don't know how you say his name, but he's the Prime Minister of Slovakia, and he came out and ordered an investigation into COVID policies, vaccine, and why people were dying. And then he also came out, and he was against the Ukrainian war. He turned on that. He says Ukraine's been under U.S. control since 2014, and so the Russian military was forced to use Russia was forced to use military force. He also said the Ukraine must give up territory to end Russian invasion. And when Kurt just told me that when we covered this, we covered those two stories back to back, and we said, boy, this guy really is looking to catch some lead. And well, it turns out he did. He caught some lead today. So that's very sad news. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico in life-threatening condition after being shot. And if you're going to be on the right side of history, it just seems like you're going to catch some lead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this is about. He's on the right side of history. And Slovakia still plays by 1960s rules, where a bullet was the only censorship factor. And America has been inculcated into knowing that the smoking gun is always in the hands of the power cult. Don't forget that. And then there's always going to be an unwitting sap to play the patsy, and that's what they have here. So Slovak Prime Minister was in a life-threatening condition after he was shot in a politically motivated assassination attempt when leaving the government meeting on Wednesday. The gunman shot Fico 5 times, leaving the Prime Minister in critical condition and still undergoing surgery hours later on Wednesday evening. The shooting in the central Slovak town of Handlova, which Slovak media say was carried out by a 71-year-old man. So, I know Kurt's theory on this is that they got to him. He's mind controlled. He's a piece of patsy, and they did this to send a message, and that message is when they're cornered, they are very dangerous animals, because that's what this guy was doing. He was out there telling the truth about Ukraine. He refused to go along. He was against the sanctions on Russia. He wouldn't give military armaments to Ukraine, and he ordered an investigation over the COVID vaccine. But any one of those things is enough to have lead flying his way, and that's what happened. Slovak news media reported the shooter was a former security guard at a shopping mall and an author of 3 collections of poetry and a member of the Slovak Society of Writers. So they got to this guy somehow. News outlet cited his son as saying his father was the legal holder of a gun license. I have absolutely no idea what my father intended, what he planned, what happened. The news agency quoted his son as saying, they reported that 4 shots had been fired and that the leftist prime minister had been hit in the abdomen. Okay. He has grown increasingly critical of the Western support of Ukraine in its war with invading Russian forces and has expressed opposition to allowing Kiev to join NATO in the future. So this 71-year-old man, oh, you pronounce his name Fitzo? Fitzo. Okay, Fitzo. Wow, that's quite a pronunciation. So somehow this 71-year-old man with magical Jedi powers to be able to sneak a firearm in to get that close to begin with. Yeah. So he's the Lee Harvey Oswald of Slovakia. And I bet we'll never really find out what happened. Hey, just like we never found out what happened with that guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband. Now, the only interview I saw of him was a complete bullshit interview, which was over the phone. So Isn't that funny? You think they'd have nothing but nonstop, round-the-clock interviews of that guy. It would get great ratings, but they don't do it. So anyway, this they're going to make it out. I bet they're going to try and make it out that this guy was just a crazed gun loner, nut. He went off his nut, and that's what happened. But of course, we know there's more to it. Just a coinkydink. Just a coinkydink that this guy stands up against NATO and Big Pharma, and next thing you know, he's catching lead. So Big Pharma is revealed to be another ancillary arm of the military-industrial complex, just like the news media, just like Boeing. So all those 70s thrillers were more truthful than 2 hours of nightly news these days. Keep that in mind. So, okay. That's that. We pray for, I don't know if you pray. I certainly hope that guy survives. That's a real tragedy. Again, if you stand up and tell the truth, and if you're on the right side of history, they're either going to throw you in jail or you're going to catch lead. Or they'll Jeffrey Epstein you, or they'll find kiddie porn on your computer, or all those things could happen. So that is what happened. He's on the right side of history on a couple of big issues, and you can't do that. Look what they did to Imran Khan in Brazil. I mean, in Pakistan. Look what they did to Lula and then Bolsonaro. Both. They criminalized both of them. Both of them. And now they're doing it to Stop Cop City here. They're doing it to the Uhuru socialists here, and they're doing it to Donald Trump and his political following. That's the new game. Okay, over to Steph.
Okay. The debate I'm looking forward to is between Dave Smith crushing Cuomo on PBD regarding the COVID regime. That's from Hannah. Hey, subscriber 612. Never change, Jimmy. Jay Klein. Thank you, Jay Klein. All right, here in my Rumble. Kate Cotwas, have you seen this video of Nancy Pelosi getting roasted to her face at Oxford? This guy goes in on her about populism / the failure of elites. Kate Cotwas, I will share that with the team. Thank you so much. Hey, did you see Aaron Rodgers on Tucker?
I saw some of it.
They talk about the vax.
It was very
Epstein,
interesting.
UAPs, etc. There's a shift happening in the culture. Kate Cotwas. Thank you, Kate Cotwas. Much love to the crew. Really hard week, but looking forward to seeing you guys in Montreal. When should I expect that show?
Hopefully soon. I have a new agent.
Oh, Jimmy's fingers are crossed. Would love to go to Montreal.
So I'd love to go to, what is it called? Ottawa, or Ottawa's the city?
Ottawa.
Ontario's the province. I'd love to go to Ottawa and then Montreal, eh?
Okay.
That's I'd love to. I've been to Montreal a couple times. Parlez-vous français? How does that mean?
Do you speak French?
Oui. So I can't wait to go back there. I hear there's got to be good food there. They're French, right? I mean, Canada's not known for their food. I had a steak in Edmonton. Complete mistake. Complete. I remember when I did 2 weeks in Saskatchewan province. This is back in 1999. And I remember I was like, well, I'll get a cheeseburger. How bad could it be? You know, I'm in the middle of nowhere. If you don't eat, Saskatchewan's like Montana, right? And they were like, hey, how's your burger? Hey, you should put less sawdust in this burger, because that's what it tasted like. Like they'd put sawdust in it. It was horrible. I didn't have a good meal for the whole 2 weeks I was there. And so this time we went, we had a good meal in Vancouver, eh? What did we eat we went out. Well, everything was good except the steak, actually. We had scallops. They were fantastic. The Caesar salad, the waitress made it at the table. She was very entertaining. She talked about how the first time
she did the peppercorn.
She had to make some kind of peppercorn sauce at the table side.
Big night.
And it lights and flame, and it made her cry.
She was the sweetest.
Anyway, her name was Emily. And but it was a mistake. It was a mistake to get the steak. Anyway, and then we went to Vancouver. We ate at the hotel. Oh, and then we ate at the club. What did we get? I remember I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. Whatever the heck I got.
I'm trying to remember. Was it Italian? Did we get Italian that night?
Yeah, and then I got Italian
in Denver. Holy
Ooh.
shitstorm! That was
what was the name of that place? There's an Italian place
something with a P,
right across the street from the Oriental Theater, which is where we played. They call it the O now, because I guess it's offensive. And but that Italian food was fantastic.
Right next door.
Fantastic.
Line out the door.
And now you know why. Hold on.
You can come back to me. I can read some stuff.
Jokes for the debate.
Okay, come on back to me. I'll read some stuff while he preps. Okay, so much love to the crew. Really hard week. Oh, I read that one. Noah Goop. And then Jim. Oh, yes. And then it continues. Also, Slovakian Prime Minister got shot today. I think you should cover him. I think you covered him before. And we did, Noah. Good recall. You're on it. Okay, next. Donald Trump and RFK Jr. are both speaking in person.
Where?
This is, okay, ready? At the Libertarian Party National Convention in Washington, D.C. next week.
Yeah, I got invited, but they invited me way too late because...
If you can squeeze in a visit while you're in Ashland, we welcome you.
I can't.
Will Hobbs, he wants to go. Shoot. I wish you could go. Okay. Jimmy, I've exposed wokeism and the left. Please watch my playlist to read my books for free. The Mystery of Why. It will strengthen your arguments against it. Wokeism is dead. Religion is obsolete. The Mystery of Why. Thank you. The Mystery of Why. Much appreciated for that. What is the name of the band that plays during your breaks? I don't know. Hey, Andrew, can you Slack me if you know which band is being played right now? Anarchist Prison Memoirs wants to know if anybody can Slack me if you know what band is being played during that time. Jimmy, I've exposed... Oh, I read that. The Mystery of Why. The Mystery of Why. Scrolling down. Okay, got that one. All right, let's see what else I have. Let's make sure. Forward this. Oh, my dog is making noise in her sleep right now. I know, Jimmy Fontanez. I don't think that's what they're listening to right now. But Jimmy Fontanez is one of them. Just so you know. Thank you, Misha. Did you check out Misha's OnlyFans site? It's not happening yet. She's working on it. You could make some real money there. Yeah, right? Just show your neck. Just go. Yeah, my teeth, my ears. Are you into ears? Okay, so I'll take a poll really quickly. Jimmy, thoughts on it in Coulter Vivek interview? Oh, I don't know if we've seen that yet. But La Señora Chamonix, thank you. We'll check that out. Standing up to power is dangerous and takes sacrifice. We should spend less time getting on people's cases who don't do it and doing it more ourselves in our sphere, SS. I hear what you're saying, SS. I would also, I suggest this, that when you see somebody challenging a powerful person like Nancy Pelosi, instead of turning around and shushing them, I think we should applaud them and say, let them speak. Let them speak, let them be heard, because these politicians are elected officials. They're not some sort of like royalty that we have to bow down to, except that's how a lot of people feel. All right. SS, I really appreciate your observation there. What was I going to say?
Okay, come to me.
Oh, Jimmy's ready.
Okay, so remember, I don't know if you knew this, but Joe Biden...
Let's make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, the babies that have been murdered, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, money poor people. This government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. We don't really know what war is, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. They're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. We have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating what we need, what needs to be done. And, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. Don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, this system and those backing the officials running the system, want people to believe that revolution means violence, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. When people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where do you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. They get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it, then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just move babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit